Hi, my name's Jo and I'm a research scientist at the UK Astronomy Technology Centre. I finished a PhD in astrophysics last year and now I work on a telescope design study called AtLAST, which stands for the Atacama Large Aperture Submillimeter Telescope, which is laying the groundwork for the next generation astronomy facilities. As part of my work on the project, I write software. I'm developing a sensitivity calculator to estimate what the telescope will be able to observe and how, when we change parameters of the telescope, the sensitivities will change. The UK ATC is quite an unusual place to work as it's right at the interface between the research and the technology. There are lots of different projects going on here, building and designing cutting-edge instrumentation on world-class telescopes and observatories. For me, it's a bit more tangible than the more academic research environments where I did my PhD, and it's a bit more practical in that sense than a lot of typical astronomy research institutes. And it's also quite unusual in that there's a dedicated software engineering group here. My astrophysics PhD that led up to this was largely data wrangling and analysis. So I worked with fairly large data sets and applied statistical techniques to investigate my hypothesis. I did the vast majority of this work in Python, and I never received any formal training in Python or in programming for data analysis at all. There wasn't really anything like that on offer throughout my PhD. A lot of astronomy code seems to be written without an awful lot of forethought or very much knowledge and sharing of good practice. And I guess there's the attitude that done is better than perfect. But since starting at the ATC, I've had the opportunity to train a bit more in software development and kind of managing my code better, which has been enormously useful and given me a lot of confidence in doing my job well. In my current role, I find myself at the meeting point of several different worlds in which people seem to speak very different languages. So I work with research scientists a lot, academics, and that's to put together the science justification for building this telescope. So I have to understand their needs and their interests, their research goals, in terms of what I need to provide for them with the software that I'm trying to write. On the other hand, the technical design of the telescope is carried out by engineers, and they have a very different set of concerns and considerations. So I need to be aware of those and try and understand that side of the project in order to build the software with the kind of correct input. So I think a key skill that I've had to develop is navigating those different groups and communicating in these different languages what's required from and for each of those groups. I really love working with people, so it's great that in this role I get to see a broad range of really cool work that's going on both within my institute and elsewhere.